You know she's getting filled by some black stud. You know there's some black fucking bull that's just filling her with cock meat, giving her the real fuck she deserves. Some big black bull just filling her with cock meat. And that's his crazy talk.
All right, folks, how we doing? How we doing tonight? I've been doing better myself. Oh lordy, just fuck me, man. Earlier tonight, my fucking well pump shit out. Oh, what the hell just happened? Okay, fine. What the hell is the computer doing? Now it looks like the computer wants to shit out. Lordy. One thing is another. Yeah, the well pump shit out tonight. So I got no fucking water. I have no fucking water at all. What is the computer doing? Oh. I know what the computer was doing there. Never mind. I know what that was. I had something. I accidentally set my phone on a USB cord, so the connection was popping in and out. Thankfully, it wasn't the one for my mic. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was bitching about my terrible, terrible lot in life. So I got no fucking water right now. None. It's just fan fucking tastic. Are we still live? I'm sorry, I know tech issues all around, aren't they? Shit. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Sorry. Looked like something was fucked up with OBS, but it's fine. Yeah. No water. Um, you know, it's not. Here's the thing. I want to be all pissy and feel fucking sorry for myself, but the reality is, it's like it's gonna be a financial hit to replace it. That sucks, but I'll be okay. I can absorb that hit. Yes, happy Father's Day, indeed. Indeed, happy Father's Day. I wish I could have taken my dad out to eat somewhere, but unfortunately, because of the bullshit virus, still couldn't do that. We did have some steaks though, so that was nice. Um, but anyways, yeah. So the well pump shit's out now. God, for whatever reason, I have a number of people who love me and look out for me. I don't know why that is. I'm a contemptible, antisocial shithead. But for whatever reason, I have more than a few friends. One of whom, thankfully, is a plumber. Um, so this is going to get taken care of tomorrow morning. Rather than, you know, maybe I could squeeze you in at Wednesday or something, when you ain't got no fucking water. Calling somebody at 9:30 at night costs you $50 right off the bat. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. So thankfully, it's going to get fixed, and I can absorb the heat hit. I can absorb the hit. And, just when you think you're getting ahead, something kicks you in the balls. But I can take it. I got friends. I was able to go to somebody's house and use their shower. So I'm not sitting here all gross and disgusting. Other than the fact that I'm fat, and that's kind of gross. But other than that, so I sit here and complain about it. I'm in a pissy mood about it, but I mean, I'm fine. It'll be fine. It'll be okay. You know what I mean? You gotta have some perspective about shit like that. Like, as mad as I've been about the lockdown stuff and all, at the end of the day, I mean, it's caused me nothing but inconvenience. I still have my job. I had to work a little bit extra than I wanted to the last couple months, but I guess that was providence, because have an extra expense here coming up. Um, I didn't get to go do fun shit for a while, but I'm not destitute. I'm not ruined by it like a lot of people have been. That's right. Man does not live by bread alone, but also by running water. You talk about, not missing what not knowing what you got till it's gone. But yeah, I was able to go get a shower. Not only that, like I was kind of afraid to call my one buddy because I know they're very much day people, not like me, and it was already like 9:35, but he was still awake, and I was like, I know you guys are like, can I use the shower downstairs? I know you guys are probably getting ready for bed and all, and he's like, no, it's fine, man. Back door's unlocked. Come on over. And if he would have been asleep or not able to answer, I have another buddy that probably would have been home. Now that would have been a further drive, bit more of an inconvenience, but only that, an inconvenience. So I want to sit here and bitch, and yeah, it's a kick in the balls, but I mean, could be worse. And I know that's almost cliche to say, but it's like it could be a million times worse. I'm doing fine. Can't quite seem to. Every time you think you're getting a little bit ahead, something like this happens. But I guess the Lord promised you your daily bread, not didn't promise you nothing for tomorrow. It's just nice to live in a high trust area. Well, I mean, it's almost not even high trust so much as, like my buddy whose back door is open. That's because, nobody lives within 5 miles of him. Who the fuck's wandering out in the middle of nowhere to rob this one house, But yes, I'm very lucky to have a number of people that care about me, that look out for me, that got my back. I don't even know why the fuck I have that, but I do. Something that kind of last Christmas, part of what sort of broke making fun of Davis for me for a little while there, is just seeing that he had like nobody on Christmas. Like he'd go over to his family, and they barely wanted him around, kind of thing, and just sitting alone on Christmas, thankful the liquor store's open, and it just, if anything, I had too many people to spend time with on Christmas. I was almost overwhelmed by the amount of social interaction, the amount of social obligation I had going on Christmas. That's right, chat. No joggers out here. Not a lot of joggers. I mean, if I was well-to-do, if I was a wealthy man, I guess I'd rather live in like a really nice suburb or something like that, but being out here's fine. It's fine. It's safe. Which is quite the increasingly valuable commodity these days. Hey, NC Clark finally made it to a live one. How's it going, NC? Should all subscribe to NC Clark's channel. She's doing the Lord's work. What's the last video I saw by her? She does these short videos that are really good. But yeah, sitting here with no fucking water. Just drinking Captain tonight. Oh, man. Dashing Rogue in the chat. Oh, shit. Are you supposed to be going live here soon? Am I stepping on your time? Sorry about that. I really wasn't thinking there. But, let's see about, see if we can't find some fucking shit to watch, shall we? And enjoy some quality content. Have some fun. Let's see. There's always good old Sigma. The Sigma Supreme. Let's see. I live in chat. I live in Florida, and there's joggers everywhere all day long. Mostly old people too. Let's see. Oh, we got a new one over on the Twitch channel. Red pilled ain't right wing. Well, I think we need to learn about this. All right. Golden Cap says Beckloff is someone who lives in Pennsylvania as well, although not that close to Lancaster. The question here is, what is a girl/boy to do these days? The real problem, it would seem, and the one I think some of the younger folks are implementing, is curbing expectations and adjusting perspectives. I don't know what the fuck it's like to date as a young person right now. I couldn't tell you without sounding like, how do you do, fellow kids? Truth be told, I never really knew what the fuck I was doing when I was your age, you know. I managed to get lucky quite a few times, but keyword there is lucky. I have no fucking idea how I did it. Spice Weasel says, I live in a decently sized suburb bounded on one side by forest preserves and farmland, and by a shopping street with everything I need on the other. That's the best way to be, man. That's where I grew up, a place like that. Every bit of it that wasn't developed was very dense woods. So there were plenty of paths through the woods you could take as a kid, you know, fucking around in the woods. Or, you know, I could ride my bike to a mall, you know, several shopping centers, a comic book store, a movie theater, a really nice community pool, which did mean that my poor dad had to deal with the homeowners association, which was a constant thorn in his side. But there were benefits with it. It was a very nice neighborhood. Like I said, community pool, all that kind of shit. My dad would routinely go to the homeowners association meetings and propose that they disband the homeowners association. and they would have a vote, and he would be the only guy voting yes. It did that a lot. The one fucking Karen that was running the homeowners association asked him the one time, he's like, Mr. Beckloff, just what rule exactly is it that you're so opposed to? And he just looks at her and goes, the fact that there are rules. But yeah, let's see what the future king of Canada is up to. I feel like that'll cheer me up a little bit for a bit. We'll learn some wisdom, some knowledge. Let's see. Windows capture. Okay, so the red pill is not right wing. By this paragon of virtue and fashion. You know, truth be told, and it's the same thing with that goofy suit he was wearing the other day. It's not even that it looks that bad. It's just that this is on a man who takes himself so seriously. It looks bad. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sitting here in a fucking Blades of Steel t-shirt. Classic game on the NES, by the way. It would look very, very ridiculous if I was insanely fucking pretentious and pompous and arrogant. There we go. The window's back. Upward cigarette number 1. Or cigarella. I'm sorry. The Trad Cat Show. That sounds fantastic. Laramie Hirsch, once again, by the way, folks, is the guy who's so trad Catholic, that he thinks Catholic Church should have destroyed the Bible. Uh-oh. Sorry, folks.
Talking about the people throwing around these Deus Volt memes. These God mit uns memes.
Davis, it's you.
And you know what? I think it's about time for a policy change around here. No more of the Deus Volt at the end. Not, I should hasten to add, not because he was talking about guys like me or guys like us.
No, he was.
Here's the thing. I started using Deus Volt. Like most things, I started doing it 2 years before it got popular. So, didn't make a lot of money doing it. I started using the Deus Volt meme year or two before everybody else did. And, I'm doing that as a Catholic, as somebody that actually speaks Latin. Maybe not very well, but I do actually speak it.
Sure.
And this was back in the day when there was some hope of something, of some crusade. But, the people blew that. They blew it.
Because they didn't follow you, right? Davis could have led us. Him and the free folk could have led us to a glorious crusade. Not sure how a crusade works, though, when you're the Catholic leading that joined a pagan cult. But what do I know? I'm just some dumb Protestant that just reads the Word of God.
And I think at this point, we're halfway through 2020. I think we can officially write off this year as a rotten egg.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Not writing off our lives as rotten eggs, but this year, the people that love the shutdowns, the people that believe this nonsense, people that are fine with Black Lives Matter tearing down statues of saints, they're fine with the Eucharist being stolen. Yeah, 2020 is a write-off. It's a garbage.
2020, I'm sorry. Black Lives Matter is tearing down statues of saints now? Where is this happening? I mean, maybe there are. I don't know. A bunch of fucking savages in that movement. But unless you're saying that, Confederate fucking generals and founding fathers are saints. I mean, I don't think that, and I like America.
Year. And with everything that's happened this year, the lockdown, which wasn't remotely legal or sensible.
There we go.
Black Lives Matter, the riots. Yeah, there ain't gonna be a Deus Volt, guys. There ain't gonna be one. And these guys that are shouting out the memes right now, they're posting this nonsense. It's like, yeah, where were you 4 years ago? What were you doing back then? And now, are you actually doing... No, there's not going to be any organization.
Well...
So it's Davis, a little bit ridiculous.
The guys who were doing the Deus Volt memes, 4 years ago they were in elementary or middle school, so that's where they were, in case you were wondering. I mean, all these trads are usually really, really spurgy, dorky, fucking teenagers who latched onto this because that's easier than figuring out how to kiss a girl. And I mean, I get it. I was into weird, esoteric, political shit as a teenager, too. I was also getting my dick wet and hanging out with my buddies and having some fun. Maybe having a little balance to things. But yeah, I get it. I get the sparkiness and the dorkiness, and it's just their version of nerd rage. But that's where they were, Davis, 4 years ago, okay? In case you were wondering.
It's kind of become a habit with me to say it. But it's become a little bit ridiculous at this point.
Just a little.
This world does not deserve a Deus Vult.
Yes, Davis, you are too good for this world. This world does not deserve your glorious crusade.
And Lloyd, thanks for having you. Thanks for being here, man. Darvatron, Ebola AIDS, and Cobb. Casual night. Man, it's been storming here. Space Dog is all tuckered out because she was scared of the thunder earlier and the hail. And yeah, so she's not going to be joining us. She's wrecked. And yeah, I'm just trying to stay cool, man. It's freaking muggy right now. So yeah, the topic of this stream. It's kind of related to that. That we've really separated the wheat from the chaff over the past 6 months. We've really seen the difference between
losing a visual.
Being red-pilled and being right-wing. Now, about 90% of what the people on the right wing say is correct. Pound for, like, I mean, like, the insanity that comes out of the liberals is no bounds to that insanity. The right wing, they sound like they make a lot of sense. Have you ever met a right winger? Have you been watching what Trump's been up to? You know what, people right now, the people that still think that something's going to happen with Trump, they're really excited because he might reduce the number of H-1B visas coming over. Might.
You know, some kind of frustrated me with Davis about the Trump thing reminds me. Because he was, you know, like, I think it was the election night special. He was all like, hey, Trump's not going to do anything. And look, Trump was a disappointment. I don't dispute that. I'm still going to vote for him this time around. Fuck, other choice do I have? I still hope he wins. I'm not quite as sure as I once was that he will get reelected. He may, through his, you know, through the fact that he does little more than nap and fucking shit talk on Twitter, he may manage to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. I'm sorry, I meant to say that the opposite. He'll snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Pardon me. That said, though, there's a group of people on the right, Davis among them, and they come in many flavors. The Wignats, the Trad Cats. A lot of them don't want things to get better. They really, really want the collapse. They really, really want things to be shitty because they're losers, okay? This is how you end up with so many of these Wignats weirdly supporting the shutdown. Why? Why would they do that? Well, because they're fucking losers, okay? What do they care if everything's shut down? They never go anywhere. They don't have jobs. Fucking shutdown doesn't affect their ability to jack off to hentai in the basement. And that's how it is with Davis. He really, really wants things to fall apart because somehow that makes him feel smarter. It really is all about ego with these guys. They really, really want to feel smarter than everything else. Like, look, I get it. A lot of the Trump fans, the boomers and stuff, they're very cringy. And they don't think about politics. And they approach it as a sports ball. And I get that that's frustrating. Okay. I get there's a lot of people on the right who don't, on a personal level, they're just as bad as the other side. They're just as thoughtless. Somebody said Nixon won a landslide in 1968 after all the chaos that happened. Oh, there's a lot of reasons Trump could possibly win. Don't get me wrong. I still think he probably will win. especially against Biden. Like, if it was another candidate, I think he'd be in real trouble. But against Biden, that said, though, I just don't think it's as sure a thing. And it's not because of what's happening. It's more because of the fact that he's not doing anything. Like, what is he doing? He sits on his fucking ass and he shit talks on Twitter like he's really good at shit talking. He's very, very good at that. And that is a fantastic skill to have. Don't get me wrong. Bullshitting is a fantastic skill to have. Okay? Davis managed to once crowdfund a movie he had no intention of seriously producing because he was a bullshitter. You know? Davis managed to bullshit a lot of money out of a lot of people over the years. But eventually, you reach a point where the bullshit doesn't cut it anymore. Trump bullshitted his way all the way to the top. Like, I love when he shit talks people. All right? What was the name he used to use back in the 90s when he'd call, like, Howard Stern and a bunch of the other, like, shock jocks and all? He'd use, like, some fake name. And he'd like be pretending to be somebody else, and he'd be talking about like, oh, all I hear all over the city is how Trump has a huge dick and stuff like that. Like, I can't remember the name, but like I swear, like sometimes I wish he was his own press secretary. He came out with a fake mustache and used that name, like just to fucking troll the media, cause that shit's amazing. It's fucking amazing. That said, though, I mean, like, yeah, there's more border security and there's some work going on with the wall, and I get he's had all this opposition that's been ridiculous. I get it. I'm not saying like fuck him and all, but man, dude, what? Come on. You need more than this. No, I don't think it was Baba Booey. It was not, because it wasn't just Stern. It was like all the radio stations in New York. He'd just call with his fake name because he's just bored and he likes shit talking. Jim Masters or something. I think it was something along those lines. But yeah, all these people, these fucking losers, they want the collapse to happen. They want everything to go to shit. Because they're fucking losers. Most of these guys don't care if there's a fucking depression. They already live in a trailer or something like that. They don't want things to be better. That's the amazing thing about them. Let's keep going with Hawaii 5-0 over here.
No, right wingers are garbage people. They talk a good game. So do libertarians, right? But all they do at their conferences is strip naked and talk about who's going to pay for the roads. You know, libertarianism might be pretty stupid, but if they could actually get it running, I'd vote for that in a second. Because those of us with some sanity and maturity would set up our own... Well, I'm not going to get into it.
Davis, you haven't kept down a job for more than a year in your entire fucking life. Yes, I know. If it was a libertarian society, you'd be a captain of industry. This is what drives me nuts with it. This is why he's such a fascinating psychological case. Davis truly believes that it is everything else and everyone else is keeping him down. He can't get a woman. And I mean in the trad Catholic, he can't find a wife. He can't hold down a job. He can't maintain a friendship longer than a few years. He can't do any of those basic fucking things that most every adult can do. Look at me. I'm a contemptible shithead, okay? And here I had a little personal problem today. The water heater, or the water pump. And I got a plumber coming here tomorrow who's going to not... yeah, it's going to be a financial hit, but he's not going to fuck me. I had people who let me use the shower. I'm fine. People love me. People care about me. No accounting for taste, but they do. I don't sit alone on Christmas happy that the liquor store was open. And again, I'm a shitbag. I'm a fuck up. And I will freely admit that while I've been done wrong in certain areas, a good chunk of my problems are not my fault. They are things that have been thrust upon me. Most of my problems and most of my failings in life are very much my fucking fault. And even the ones that aren't my fault are my responsibility. That's a lesson you got to learn in life. It may not be your fault, but it's your responsibility. But no, see, David said now he's going to go on this thing about, he's transcended politics or whatever, and right-wing people are just as worthless as left-wing people, which is true. It's completely fucking true. But Davis, you're not in the position you're in because of the evils and injustices of the world. Okay, I realize you think that you should be the king of Canada or something like that. You are a fuck up. You are a shithead. You are a narcissistic idiot. You can't hold down a job. You can't maintain a relationship. But again, it's society's fault. Chat, y'all are killing me. Somebody in the chat says Davis would probably want the plumber to screw him. And then somebody else says, check my sewer pipe, daddy plumber. Oh, that's gross. Somebody says middle class people who have concerns about state spending are libertarians to him. Pretty much. Whoa, I didn't know you were in the International Brotherhood of Shitheads. I'm in the I'm in the local angry shitheads. I've heard about the Pennsylvania Contemptibles. Interesting bunch. No, seriously, look, I'm a shithead, all right? I'm a contemptible fuck. All right? I've spent most of my life at times being the friend in the group that everyone else had to explain away. Okay, I get it, all right? I think in some ways that's part of why I kind of overlooked a lot of fucking the red flags with Davis, is that I've been the guy who other friends have to be like, no, man, you don't get him. He's actually really cool. I've been that guy, okay? I know he's abrasive as fuck, but trust me, he's actually really cool. I've been that guy that other friends have to be like, no, give him a chance. I mean, I've mellowed out of that. I was more that guy in my 20s than I am in my 30s. You know, I'm not pushing on to 40 and still really, really that guy. But at the same time, I've always had, like, really, I've had really, really close friendships and that sort of stuff. And, I mean, I have lifelong friendships. I just went and visited a buddy of mine today. He's almost like a cousin to me. It's one of those things where, like, his parents and my parents were close friends. So, you know, and I called his dad uncle and his mom aunt, that kind of thing. Even though they're not blood relatives to me at all, right? I mean, this kid is as far removed a blood relative from me. The kid is half Jewish, half Indian, fucking red dot Indian, not the woo woo Indian, not the bow and arrow Indian, the red dot Indian, the 7-Eleven Indian. But you know, he's far removed from me as you could be, and he's still like a cousin to me. Anyways, I went and visited him today. You know, a guy, he had a peptic ulcer. So he's been on medical leave here recently. Poor, you know, he's just going stir crazy. I want to check on him, make sure he's okay. But again, lifelong friendship. I know I can count on that guy. You know, I know that guy give me the shirt off his back. I know if I'm ever in trouble and I need his help, he's there. You know. And I've known him literally since I can remember. You know, my closest friends. My one, I mean, good God, I guess I've been friends with him almost 20 years now. I want to say probably like 19 years now that I think about it. I think it was... No, I guess now it is truly 20 years because it's fucking 2020. What am I saying? So 20 years. And then my other two closest friends I've known for, like 13 and like 9 years respectively. Davis, you don't have a friend that's been your friend for longer than like 5 years. You don't. Because you can't go that long without burning them. But no, see, everybody else betrayed you. Everybody betrayed me. I fed up with this world. Somebody in the chat says there's an invention called a mirror. When you look at it, it shows where 95% of your problems come from. You know, shit. There it is. There's the cold-hearted truth. And I'll say it again, Davis. You're going on about red pills and right-wingers and how you should run society and how there's not going to be a glorious crusade that you and your pagan buddies are going to fight and all this other gay shit. Let me tell you what your crusade should be. You need to grab your metaphorical sword, not your literal stupid fucking gay one behind you, but your metaphorical sword and armor, and charge on over to the fucking to a fucking job and go do the fucking job. Like, that's what you need to do, Davis. That needs to be your fucking crusade. Your crusade right now needs to be getting someone's order right at Wendy's. That needs to be your holy fucking crusade right now, Davis. I'm not even kidding. Like, any job would do you good at this point, Davis. But at this point, honestly, the shittier the job, the better. You would be... You would be well served to go work at fucking Wendy's or Burger King or McDonald's or what the fuck you got up there. I believe Tim Hortons is really big up in the fabled land of Canada. I'm not all that familiar with it. I believe it's generally considered to be an icy hellscape, long thought uninhabited by civilized man. But yes, whatever is the popular thing up in Canada, you should go do that. You should go work at a fucking shitty fast food joint. You should flip burgers. You should fucking deal with some fucking Karen's obnoxious order of how she wants exactly 3 pickles on her fucking sandwich. Not 4, not 5, 3, or she's gonna fucking bitch to your manager. You need to go fucking have some fucking, especially at your age, be humble. Have some fucking 20-year-old who just made assistant manager and is high on that fucking first taste of power, giving you a ration of shit because you didn't wipe down the tables enough. Like, that's what you need, Davis. I'll expand it. Everybody should work either retail or restaurant at some point in their life. You know, like, you know, they talk about mandatory military service when you're out of the fucking high school. Fuck that. We don't need to feed the military industrial complex more fresh bodies. I will say this. How about mandatory, like, mandatory working at fucking Wendy's? How about that? Mandatory bussing tables. Mandatory fucking something that involves being behind a cash register. All right? That's what you need. Everybody needs that. It's good for you. It's good for you to have to deal with bullshit all day. Right out of high school, I worked at a Burger King that was right by a retirement village. That was a nightmare. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have some good memories from it and all, but dealing with those old fucks. You'd have some old ladies come in. And we'll take Davis down here. Let the meme scroll go for a while. Because we're on a sidetrack. You'd have some old folks come in. Like, you'd see an old lady come in. And by the way, why do old ladies always do that fucking hairstyle with where it's like the fro, or it's like the fucking afro or whatever, that I've given up old lady fucking afro? I guess that's because their hair is thinning and they're trying to hide it. I don't know why the fuck they do that. It looks awful. I remember my girlfriend at the time, you know, she had stopped by to pester me at work because she liked to do that. And, you know, I was on my break and she's looking at some of these old people and she was like, please, when we're old, tell me we'll have better things to do than harass people at the Burger King. Harass minimum wage motherfuckers at the Burger King. The perm. Yes, that's, I guess, what you call it. The perm. It's fucking terrible. All right? Just don't do that, ladies. Don't fucking get the perm unless you've given up on life. Somebody says I've worked retail. It sucks. I've worked right around that time, shortly after that. I worked at a Suncoast. You know, some of you Zoomers are like, "What the fuck's a Suncoast, old man?" Well, back when you would purchase movies on DVD, and even at the time, sometimes on VHS, there would be specific stores at the mall where you would purchase them. One of them was called Suncoast. And I thought, this won't be that bad. It's a movie store, right? Everybody loves movies. Everybody coming in there is in a good mood. We're all happy, like, yay, movies. It's a happy, fun time. It'll be nice, like, right? It was fucking terrible. It was fucking awful. Because this was right around the time where all those stores were doing the gay shit with, like, would you like to sign up for this? Would you like to get our club card? Would you like to do this? Would you like to do that? So you had to harass the fuck out of the customers. Like, that's the thing I'll say on, like, the handful of times I go to a GameStop or an FYE now, where, you know, they go through the spiel. I'll just be like, look, sweetie, I you know, it's usually a girl behind the counter. Be like, look, sweetie, I know you got to do that. So, like, let's just pretend like you did. Like, if the manager comes by, I'll say you asked all those things and we're very professional and polite. But let's just move on. Like, I just want to hand you the cash and you hand me the product and we all move on with our day. Again, pushing with the fucking, the card shit. Oh, and the other thing, the scam they were pushing at the time was ask them if they want 3 free weeks of Entertainment Weekly. Now, the scam there is if you get this and you don't cancel by the end of those 3 weeks, now you're going to get charged like a fucking year subscription to Entertainment Weekly. Which, of course, you push that on some old lady, she's not going to fucking know or read anything. She's going to be like, oh, yay, free. And then she's going to get charged, which, I mean, fuck old people and all. But I still don't want to, I don't care if bad things happen to old people these days because old people suck. And they have for most of my life. But at the same time, I don't necessarily want to be the person that does the bad thing to them. So, a perfect story of how bad that was at the time. And I know we're super sidetracked because Davis is boring. Spider-Man 2 had just come out on DVD. So this was like mid-November. So we were getting into the time when people were Christmas shopping, Wasn't the height of the Christmas shopping season, but people were doing it. So this lady comes in. She's like a middle-aged woman, right? She comes in. She gets Spider-Man 2. And I asked her if she was getting it for her son. She's like, yeah, my son's a huge Spider-Man fan. And, he loved this movie. So I'm going to get it from him. I'm like, can I show you something? Because we were kind of dead, So I bring her over. The 60s Spider-Man cartoon had just come out on DVD. And I was like, and it was like $50 box set. This was like 2004 money. So what was a little bit more than $50 is now, but still. I said, you should think about getting him this. Because this is almost never been on TV. It's the first Spider-Man cartoon. So he's probably never even had a chance to see it. And, obviously it's this huge piece of Spider-Man history. And and I'm talking it up. And I'm like, personally, I'm hoping Santa brings it to me. And she laughed at that. She thought that was funny. Boomer lady. She's easily amused, And she's like, yeah, I'm going to get that. That sounds great. So she now, I think it was like the first week Spider-Man 2 had come out. So it was normally a $22 DVD, but the first week they were usually $15 or something like that. So she's buying this $15 DVD. And now she's buying a $50 DVD on top of it. So I turned a $15 sale into a $65 sale. Completely organically. In a way that she was completely happy with. It wasn't some shitty thing where she's going to 2 hours later feel like she got swindled. Like I sweet talked her into some bullshit. Okay? She's completely happy with it. That I don't know, teenager, kid, I don't know how the fuck old he was. Probably around a teenager. Maybe young adult, maybe kid. I don't know. But probably around a teenager. He's going to fucking open that up, think it's fucking cool as shit. Now, granted, he was probably going to watch 3 episodes of it and think it fucking horrible, but he's going to at least be happy he saw it. Everybody's fucking happy, right? Suncoast got more money. This lady just, fucking won Christmas with this cool-ass gift. Her fucking son is going to get this cool-ass gift. Everybody's fucking happy, right? My manager comes up to me, having observed this from the sidelines, and decides to start chewing me out that I didn't try and push 3 weeks free of Entertainment Weekly on her. And it was literally, I think it was even in that conversation, but I know it was that day. I was just sort of like, it's my week's notice, dude. This ain't working out. I can't be what you want me to be. Oh, man. Somebody says, I had a crazy lady pay for $70 worth of food and pennies she poured out of a Pringles can. I didn't mind when people paid for shit or change, as long as there wasn't a line behind you. You know what I mean? If it was you're the only person in the store, That's fine. Odds are my register needs more change. Your register always needs fucking more change. So I don't care if you want to come at me with a bunch of pennies and quarters and nickels and shit. Like, fine. But not when there's like 9 people behind you, okay? So this is why you have hobbies, so when you become older, you don't have to be an inconvenience to other people. Like, yeah, so you don't make your hobby when you're older, like, fuck with people. I remember Suncoast is about the only place to buy anime in my area back when I was way into it, late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, even around 04, it had a huge anime section. It even had a manga section. It generally, it didn't sell books of other kinds, but it had a manga section. So it says chain store, video stores like that seem to push the membership stuff whenever. Look, I get it. I'm sure it makes some money and that kind of stuff, but like, I'm not gonna push it on. Like, look, if you're in there all the time, buying shit all the time, it probably makes sense to get the membership card. But like the little old lady that's buying like fucking Pixar movies for her grandkids on Christmas and never buys a fucking DVD other than that doesn't need a membership card, okay? I think FYE is still the only one that's still around. I'm pretty sure I know Suncoast got bought up by FYE, but I think they're just all closed now and it's just FYEs. I wish my fucking mall would open up. I'd like to go to FYE again. Like, I kind of like to look for some Godzilla stuff. I kind of like to look for like maybe a decent collection of Godzilla films on DVD. Like, a lot of them are kind of cheap, so you could probably get a decent collection on DVD. And I guess I could order it online, but it's like, I don't know. Fuck, I don't want to. I'd just rather go into a store. I want a bit of a Godzilla kick here lately. Been getting into that. I remember like a year or two ago, I went into Suncoast, and they sort of turned it around since then, but it was awful. Not Suncoast, I'm sorry, FYE. Like, the DVD and music sections had shrunk down to maybe like 10% of the floor space, and the rest of it was just fucking garbage. Like gross Japanese candy, a billion fucking Funko Pops, like t-shirts, shit like that. Just, merch, which is fine. Like, look, I'm not going to act like I don't buy fucking dumb shit. Obviously I do. I like it. Hell, I even have a couple of Funko Pops. But like, I don't necessarily want like, 90% of the fucking store to be that. Like, I go into Suncoast because I'm looking for some fucking movies. Like, Target's fine to get movies at if you're looking for new releases. But if you're looking for some... Like, I think at the time, I wanted to find Event Horizon on DVD. I wanted to rewatch that. Event Horizon's a great movie, by the way. It's oddly enough a better Doom movie than the Doom movie. But I wandered in there... And it just had nothing as far as selection. And like I said, Target, I mean, you're not going to find a fucking 20-year-old movie at Target. You might. They do have older movies there. But it's just a random mishmash fucking collection of shit. You know what I mean? You never know what's going to be there. So he says, I sold off 90% of my anime collection about a decade ago. Only held on to the stuff I really treasured. I have a pretty big DVD collection. I'm a physical media guy. So I'd rather have DVDs of shit. I mean, the streaming services are nice and all, but you never know also when they're going to change shit. That's the other thing. Like, I don't trust digital media, because especially in these days when we're ripping down statues and shit. Like, you never know when they're going to edit and change shit. Chop things up, remove the heart and soul out of shit. So I'd rather it be preserved in a physical media. Somebody says, get the Toho Godzilla collection from Sony. It has 5 of the 7 Heisei movies and all 6 Millennium films. Well, that's pretty cool. I'd like to get a collection of the Heisei Gamera. I heard those are fucking amazing. Like, it's weird, like the old, I don't know. Here in America, the only country that matters, we call it Silver Age. Well, I should say comic book nerds like me would call that time period Silver Age. But what is it? The Showa series of Gamera movies are fucking balls. From what I've heard, I haven't actually been able to see them, but from all the reviews I've seen, all the lore videos on them I've seen. That said, though, the Heisei trilogy is supposed to be really fucking good. So I'd kind of like to check that out. It's weird. I sort of was researching the Kaiju fandom for a bit of a project I'm working on. And I just sort of found myself getting kind of into it. It's very much it's got a lot of the same appeal that to me at least the superhero genre does, where it can be very lighthearted and goofy and batshit crazy, or it can be very dark and serious and reasonably fucking grounded, or it can be batshit crazy and dark, or you know what I mean, like it really can. And then there's the shared universes and the crossovers and the alternate timelines and the alternate continuities and the branching timelines and just this vast multiverse of madness. And I love that shit. So he says best places to buy physical media nowadays. Others used games /CD/movie places. We have half price books as a oh yeah, the Just Press Play in my area. They got 3 locations in my county and one in the next county over. Retro game store, but they have new games and shit like that. But they got DVD selections, and they have a pretty big selection of used DVDs, and they are dirt cheap. Now, if you're selling used DVDs to them, good luck. Like, I've sold a few that we ended up with doubles of or something, where it's like, I bought it thinking I didn't have it, and I already had it or something. That's happened a couple of times. So I sell it to them, and it's like, oh yeah, your used DVD, We'll put like fucking 27 cents on your account for it, because it's gonna sit here forever, and we're gonna maybe sell it for $6. So, but yeah, you can get good deals on shit there. Somebody says I am considering buying a mini computer only for backing up media, so I can always copy stuff onto a stick for transit. I'm embracing my crazy nerd cyberpunk future. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the streaming stuff is great and all. It's just I don't trust media I don't own. I never will, and I don't think I ever should. If you physical media, if you buy it, you own it. It's just that simple. I know with like video games, it's a little bit more complicated because obviously, same with even to some extent, same with movies. Obviously, you need power or something. But say a book, right? You buy a digital copy of a book or a comic or whatever. You don't own it. If you buy a fucking book, you own it forever. The fucking pulse could happen, and we ain't got no power. You still got this fucking book. You might have to burn it to stay warm, but that's your fucking choice. You own it. Showa Gamera movies are definitely low budget. Gurion is just a giant knife head. Gauss is cool. Yeah, Gauss ended up becoming kind of Gamera's, I guess because it appeared multiple times, but it sort of became the most iconic of his foes, to the point where they basically tie his and Gauss's, or Gauss as a species, their origins together in the Heisei movies. I feel like I've already seen those movies because I know like the lore and the stories inside and out. But I do want to actually sit down and watch them. Because I've been watching like channels on like where they break down the lore and the history of this monster or that monster, and this film series and that film series. Oh, and I got because again, been on a Godzilla kick. I picked up Godzilla for the NES, which is okay. It's not bad. It's definitely got some flaws, but it's a decent NES game, and it was only $10. But I also picked up Godzilla Domination for the Game Boy Advance. That game's fucking great. It's like an isometric 3D, like, almost fighter / beat 'em up. Boy, it's a lot of fun. Like, really appealing graphics. It's kind of cartoony graphics, but that works best. Cartoonish kind of sprites for the GBA. Great game, though. It's not the cheapest thing. I got mine for $40 at the Retro Game Store about a week ago, and I'd say it's worth that. It's one of the most fun retro games I've bought in a long time. I've been playing the shit out of it. But it, for whatever reason, it's like, that's crazy expensive for a GBA game. The GameCube Godzilla fighting games are really good. Yeah, I don't have a GameCube or Wii, otherwise I'd probably pick them up. I remember a roommate of mine, it was right when that shit was new. He had a PS2. And he was so fucking mad that those games only came out on the GameCube. I mean, I think he, like, years later would play them and all, but God, he was a huge Godzilla fan. He's so fucking mad about that. Somebody says, have you watched James AVGN Monster Madness Marathon Godzilla review video? He does a good job explaining stuff. He did a video called Godzilla for Beginners that was pretty good. I did catch that one. I've watched a lot of Up from the Depths. That's a good movie on those, or a good channel on those. Brendan Tenlon, what the fuck's his name? He's like one of those snarky Channel Awesome guys, but he is still pretty funny. He does a lot of B horror movie shit. I'm trying to think of what his last name is, because he doesn't have like a handle. He just calls himself by his name. But he does a lot of those fucking things, and his channel's pretty good. What the fuck is his channel's name? This is gonna bug me now. I'm gonna look it up. I know, very professional while I'm streaming, but I want to look it up. What the fuck is his name? Brandon Tenold. He's at Brandon's Cult Movie Reviews. He does a lot of Godzilla shit. Those aren't the best things if you're trying to learn shit about it, because it's just him like ripping on it. You know, it's those kind of Channel Awesome style reviews. I mean, they're funny. His channel's good, but definitely not necessarily the best place for the lore. I'll be honest with you, the other thing that was kind of interesting, like, it was interesting listening to well thought out arguments why Godzilla fans hate the 1998 American one so much. Because I'm going to let you in on a little secret, guys. I actually kind of like that movie. Now, granted, I saw it as, I don't want to say kid, I was like 15 or something like that. But I didn't really know much about Godzilla. I think the only Godzilla movies I had seen at that point were the original, and I think I saw the American cut. Yeah, I did, because it had Perry Mason in it, whatever the fuck that actor's name is. And I had seen Godzilla vs. Biollante, I remember renting, just because I didn't know anything about Godzilla, but it was a fucking giant plant monster. And I am a sucker for plant monsters in fiction. Like, supervillains with plant powers, plant monsters, that sort of thing. You know, Poison Ivy, you know, Rocky Horror Picture Show, or not Rocky, Little House of Horrors. The plant guy in Darkwing Duck. I love plant monsters. It's kind of why on a whim I picked the Bulbasaur thing. So I remember renting Godzilla vs. Biollante, but those are the only ones I'd ever seen. I like the 98 Godzilla, I gotta say. Now, does it stray super, super far from source material? Fucking obviously. In some ways, I kind of feel like he's scarier than most other versions of Godzilla. Like, everybody laments on, like, oh, that whole thing with the babies at the end, and it's just ripping off Jurassic Park, and yeah, it kind of is. But that shit's fucking scary. Not just because they're being chased by, you know, not velociraptors. But think about what was fucking implied there. If they hadn't have caught that in time, that's civilization ending shit. Okay, that's bad fucking shit. Because, yeah, this Godzilla is not the most powerful thing in the world. But imagine a fucking 1,000 of them running around now. Each one of them getting ready to fucking lay eggs. Like, you had you have a possible nightmare fucking scenario where this shit's gonna get really out of hand really badly. to possible, you know, what was it the one guy said in there? It's very, if this gets out of hand, we are very quickly going to not be the dominant species on this planet any longer. So, yeah, like, okay, yeah, you're ripping off Jurassic Park with everybody running away from raptors and stuff like that. I get that. But at the same time, when you actually think about the story, like, holy shit, this would have been terrible. This would have been way worse than one lumbering fucking radioactive super monster that shows up once in a while and wrecks Tokyo. This would have been world-ending shit. But it was interesting to listen to, like, some well thought out critiques of it, of why exactly they didn't like it, that sort of thing, and I get a lot of it. Because most of what I had heard before was just like, it's not like Godzilla. And you know what that sounds like to me? Like, imagine me as a comic book fan if I was shitting on the 2019 Joker because it was so far removed from the source material. That's not like the Joker. Well, I mean, it is ridiculously far removed from the source material to the point where I argue it almost should be called something else and be its own thing. That said, though, it's a fantastic movie dealing with issues like class inequality and mental illness. It's a fucking fantastic movie. So he says, I have the Godzilla animated series. It's a decent sequel to the film. I watched a little bit of that when it was first on TV. I think Kids WB was airing it. I think. So I remember in high school watching a little bit of that after school. It's funny, they actually took the American Godzilla design and incorporated it into some of the Japanese Godzilla continuities as a monster called Zilla. There's the 04 movie Final Wars had Zilla in it, and the recent Godzilla King of the Monsters comic at IDW, which I've been reading through the big collection I got, that has a cool fight with Godzilla and Zilla in it. It's a cool monster design. I mean, you could say it's like too far removed from Godzilla, and I guess I'd agree with you, but it's a cool fucking monster design. Oh, was it on Fox Kids? I would have thought it was Kids WB. Huh. You know, it was the same animation studio that did the Men in Black cartoon and I think Ghostbusters Extreme. It's that exact same art style, so I want to say it was the same studio. And as I recall, those two were on Fox Kids. So maybe they had like a contract with Fox Kids. It's funny, a lot of the Godzilla fans that hate the 98 movie actually do like the cartoon that spun off of it. It's certainly better than a Hanna-Barbera Godzilla cartoon with fucking Godzuki. It's funny that, like, we wanted to... I was going to cover Davis, and we ended up talking about retail stories and Godzilla, because those are more interesting. Davis, she's so fucking boring anymore. You really are, dude. Like, just go get a job, Davis. Just fucking go get a job. Go flip some burgers, dude. It'd be good for your soul. It'd be good for your body. It'd be good for your mind. It'd be good for your bank account. Like, I know you're sponging off your parents and all, but they'd probably feel better about it if you were actually working. So it says you could watch it on Disney Plus. It might be on Disney Plus. It might be on Hulu. Because a lot of Fox stuff is on Hulu, too. Disney owns both of those now. Fox originally owned Hulu, I believe, but... I actually wouldn't mind watching it if it's on one of the streaming services. Give it a shot. Like I said, I think it's a decent movie. I get why Godzilla fans would hate it, but like I said, if you get over that, you have a pretty decent movie there. And I really like the MonsterVerse shit so far. I haven't seen Kong Skull Island though. I do want to watch that one. Yeah, but the new American MonsterVerse shit, it's mostly aside from Kong, and there's 4 Toho monsters. Aside from that, it's all original monsters. Then they got Godzilla, obviously, and then they got Ghidorah, Mothra, and Rodan. I don't know. I don't really like Rodan. I'm really not feeling it with Rodan. I get these like this iconic thing, and he's like, oh, but like, it's just like a really shitty pterodactyl design. Like, there's nothing about his design that I find all that. Like, Mothra's cool as shit. Mothra looks cool. Because moths look cool. But this is just like, it's just like a really fat pterodactyl. Like, there's so many more interesting Toho monsters. That's the thing, though. Toho usually charges you per monster when you get rights. You can't just, like, buy the rights to the Godzilla franchise and you can use all these other monsters. Davis should get a job at Hot Topic. He could critique Funko Pops. Yes, Davis. I'd love to hear Davis tell us why Funko Pops don't have the logos. Oh wait, Funko Pops are modern world. Yes, indeed, chat. They're modernity. God, people fucking hate those things, or they love them. People either like hate them, or they like have a fucking spare room full of them. Like I sort of don't have strong opinions on them. I have a Spider-Man one from like years and years ago, like 2011 or something like that someone bought me, and it's still like a bobblehead. I don't think any of them are bobbleheads anymore, but it's still like, you know, the spring and a bobblehead shit in it. And it looks a little smaller. I think the head's a little smaller than some of the ones now. I think. I don't really have it sitting next to any other ones. I had a Cthulhu one somebody bought me, but that fat retard dog over there destroyed it. He got it. It fell off the shelf when I wasn't looking. He destroyed it. He defeated Cthulhu. Somebody got me that one for like a birthday or Christmas. Most of them somebody got me. And then after that, I had like Mega Man and Proto Man. Because you don't see Mega Man shit that often. I would mostly like the ones I'd pick up would be like when you don't see merchandise of that character very often. Like I got Mega Man, Proto Man. I got Lara Croft, a classic Tomb Raider. I have a Trump one from 2016 I picked up. And I have Red Sonja and Freddy Krueger. I mean, like, I don't know. I wouldn't like ever collect them, like, because I'm not like inherently interested in Funko Pops themselves. But if I see one that's something I like, and it's something that, like, I wouldn't get comic book ones. Like, I have a Spider-Man one because somebody bought it for me. But generally, with like comic book characters, you can find really cool actual figures of them. But like Lara Croft or fucking Freddy or Mega Man or Red Sonja, you don't really see those merchandise that often. So, yeah, I'll pick one up with something like that. And Lord knows Funko Pops gets every fucking license they can possibly get. So, if you like something, odds are there's a fucking pop of it. Somebody says Funko Pops are Beanie Babies for Zoomers. So he says, yeah, that fits aside from the grift and artificial scarcity during the Beanie Baby sales. I mean, there's a little bit of that with Funko Pops. You know, there's some that like are Target exclusives or, you know, fucking, you know, Comic Con exclusives or something like that. Like, I got my one buddy a Jason Voorhees one, the one year for Christmas, just because, like, he just gets Jason Voorhees anything. You know what I mean? He just loves fucking Jason. So, yeah, like, but I'd never collect them. I don't get the guys that just collect them. Like, you see, like, the fucking, you know, these guys on YouTube, they got a spare room full of them, and it's like, there's no way you like all those things. Like, all those things that the Funko Pops are of. Like, there's, like, you're, like, picking up a fucking Golden Girls Funko Pop or something. You've never seen an episode of that in your life, and you know it. You're just picking it up because it's a Funko Pop you don't have. That's a fucking sickness, okay? You need help. It just says, who buys Funko Pops? Females. Like I said, I've bought a couple. I'll admit. But it's just, you know, like I see a Red Sonja Funko Pop at Target, and I'm going to be like, well, fuck, man, they don't make Red Sonjas anything. Like, they don't make anything a Red Sonja. That's cool. I'll get that. I love Red Sonja. It's fucking badass barbarian redhead babe in a fucking bikini. What's not to love? But generally, I don't get them. Like, every once in a while, I walk by a wall of them at this or that store and kind of glance at them. And the only comic book related one I almost got was there was a Blue Beetle one that I thought, oh man, they don't make enough Blue Beetle stuff. Ted Kord Blue Beetle, no less. But it came in a 2-pack with Booster Gold. And it's like, I don't want Booster Gold. Can I just buy the fucking Ted Kord one? And a lot of them don't look good. Like, I saw a Pac-Man one once, but it's like, when you change it to be that square head design of the Funko Pop, it's like, all Pac-Man is a circle. So it's like, this isn't Pac-Man anymore. Normally I like getting Pac-Man shit, because they don't make enough Pac-Man merchandise. Don't get me wrong, they make a lot of, like, how should I put this? They make merch of the Pac-Man sprite all the time. But the actual character design, you know what I mean? Like the actual guy with it, you know, with his little fucking gloves with no fingers, and his fucking boots, and the actual character of Pac-Man, you don't see merchandise of that much. You see like merchandise of the sprite or just the fucking, you know, the circle with the slice out of it kind of thing. So he says, if you like taking pictures with green screen and Photoshop, figures are a good hobby. I kind of sometimes want to get into that because I like having fucking figures. I remember I had like just a couple at the time, like, you know, like a Spider-Man and a couple of Spider-Mans, and I think maybe like one other thing, like, I don't know, like an Iron Man or something I got. But I had like a couple over on my dresser or something with my one roommate right out of high school, and I remember just like all the time, like we had like a couple sitting on the TV because, you know, we had those big tube TVs back in those days, and every time I come home, like he usually got home before me, he'd fucking put them in like some pose where they're fucking each other, just all the time, and I just thought that shit was funny as hell. Simple shit like that. You know, you gotta take the simple joys in life. Pops are poor Burger Man's version of Nendroids. I can kind of see that. You know, I have a few of those expensive Japanese figures, you know, where you swap out the faces and shit like that. First one I bought of that was Mega Man. And, I mean, those things go for like $60 to $100 depending on which one you get, you know what I mean? was like, fuck, man, that's just too good to pass up. You know, you could swap out the hands and stuff like. Those are really cool. And then the androids ones are like the chibi versions of that, which I mean, some of those are pretty cool. Yeah, but the pops are like just cheap ones. And I don't dispute that. Like I said, I would never collect them. But if I see one that I think looks okay and it's something that doesn't get merchandise all the time, I'll pick them up. But some of them are like, there's like obviously like Marvel and DC do a bunch of them, but there's a fucking line of Venomized ones, right? Where it's supposed to be some character with the Venom symbiote over it, even if it's like a character that's never fucking touched a symbiote before, like ever in the comics. Even though all sorts of weird shit, like you have to almost like be hard pressed to find a character that hasn't. Like, I saw one at the bookstore yesterday. Venomized Ultron. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Ultron's a robot. This is beyond retarded. No, Ultron never had the Venom symbiote, and he never will. He's a fucking robot. I know it's fiction. I know it's sci-fi. You got to suspend your disbelief a little bit. But no, there's no fucking way it works that way. That's just fucking dumb. Oh, fuck. Long day. Long, stressful fucking day. I should go have a nice tall glass of water. Oh, that's right. I have water bottles. I'm fine. Just fucking grumpy about it. Kirby Nendroid is based as fuck. I have that one. That's great. It's really cool how they did the arms and legs on him. They're like magnets, so you can slide them all over his body and have him positioned anywhere. That one's cool as fuck. I have that on my bookshelf. Yeah, I scooped that up when I saw it. Like, I was like, oh my god, that one's cool as hell. Somebody says, Hasbro just released Armored Daredevil figure, the one introduced during the Marvel 90s. Good luck. Oh, is that like, wasn't it like a black and red kind of? It was like around 94 he had that armor. It was very briefly he had that costume, but he always kind of liked it. Like, people just hated it for some reason, but I thought it was kind of a cool change of pace for a while. Yeah, I sort of liked that costume. I wouldn't mind getting a figure of that. If I see that somewhere, I think I might scoop it up. I didn't like that recent black and red thing he had like a couple years ago, right after the Mark Waid run when they were trying to get dark again. And I don't know, it's just kind of too simple. Like, tries too hard to look like a ninja. Darth Venom. Venom Ellie from Last of Us. Wandering Venom from Fallout 4. Clean water is modernity. No logos with it. Yeah, I know. I should go fucking wash myself in a puddle outside. A fucking mud puddle outside. Reject modernity. The one channel I watch, Monster Island Buddies, he was talking about, like, he had a sponsor, and it was somebody, he has like an eBay store. I can't remember the name of it. And fuck it, he ain't sponsoring me, so. But he makes 3D printed buildings to go with Kaiju figures. Which look cool as fuck. He was talking about, like, you know, and they're not too expensive. So he's like, yeah, you could get like a bunch, or you could even just get one, and it would look really great next to your figure. I kind of want to get a fucking Gamera one. I kind of like Gamera's design a lot. Like, again, the old Showa movies are ass, but I don't know. Like, Gamera's design is just the right amount of goofy and badass. Like this big lumbering stupid fucking turtle with tusks. Fucking saber-toothed tiger tusks, except they're pointing up instead of down. And just fucking shoots rockets out of his legs. It's so stupid. I love it. Yeah, I don't know about the Showa stuff where he sort of had had quite the fascination with boys in short shorts. I don't know what was going on with Gamera there. He's the friend of all. He's the lover of all children, is he? Fucking rampaging through Tokyo. Chris Hansen comes out like, Gamera, take a seat. Why don't you take a seat over here? Oh man, this is the dumbest fucking stream I've ever done. It's just rambling on about bullshit for it's because I'm cranky. I went over for fucking water. Sitting here mad. Felt like streaming. It's quality content. I don't know. Do we want to get back to Davis? I don't even want to. God, I can't ever get more than 10 minutes in shit anymore. God, who cares, Davis? Just go get a job. Rejecting modernity unless it benefits us. Like, yeah, I'm generally a big fan of, like, running water and shit. Like, yeah, I get it. There's a lot of stuff in the modern world that we should maybe not be doing, but there was a trailer for a possibly new Gamera film that never materialized. Check it out. Japanese kids in shorts in the 60s was a standard for a lot of Japanese media back then. Well, that's kind of disturbing. But yeah, I want to check out the Heisei Gamera stuff. Gamera approves of this stream. You damn right he does. He's the friend of all children, you know. That's what IDW needs to do. Because, you know, they got the Godzilla license. And they do all these goofy crossovers. They need to get the Gamera license. And we need a Godzilla versus Gamera comic. That's what we need. We need a fucking Godzilla Gamera crossover. Supposedly, the studio that owned Gamera wanted to talk Toho into doing that. But Toho is like, get the fuck out of here, loser. Gamera sucks. Like, they wanted no part of it. You ain't King Kong. You know? You know, I guess I should fucking wrap this up. I'm stepping on poor Dashing Rogue stream, aren't I? Is he streaming yet? I was just thinking of that. Am I stepping on poor Dashing Rogue? Because I know he usually streams around this time. So he's... Hang on. Is he streaming? It says live. Okay, waiting. Okay, so Dashing Rogue probably wants to stream. Okay, he's probably waiting on me to finish. I know there's an overlap in our audience. So he says, I would kill for a redo of the older Gamera films and a redo of the monsters. You know what would have been cool? If the Heisei movies would have, and supposedly they were thinking of doing this for a fourth one, would have like reimagined all the Gamera monsters, just kind of updated them just a bit. Godzilla versus Gamera would be like the Avengers versus Justice League. You're damn right. It's sort of the DC and Marvel of rubber monsters movies. What do you think of the Rampage games? I only ever really played the original. Well, I shouldn't say the original because it was an arcade game before, but I played the NES version. I like it. It's pretty good. It's somewhat repetitive, but it's fun. And it's a fun concept. I mean, from what I understand, most of the versions of that are fun. I don't know how like some of the more modern takes on it are. But I mean, it's a movie where you fucking, you know, you're either a big old goofy ape or a big old goofy lizard and you smash buildings. It's fun. Yes, indeed. Have a good week. Thank you, chat. Down at Warland in the chat there. So yeah, you know what? I'm going to wrap this up, and I'm sure Dashing Rogue wants to stream. You should all check out Dashing Rogue's channel. You know, I kind of stepped on his time tonight. Didn't necessarily mean to do that, but, you know, I was sort of pissed off. You know, I ain't got no fucking water. I'm all mad. You know, I had a fucking financial kick in the balls over this. You know, that's why you should check out streamlabs.com/Beckloff and send a super chat. By the way, you could send a super chat when I'm not live, and I will then read it when I am live. Yeah, you can also check out the paypal.me/Beckloff. And, or, you know, you'd be like, oh, fuck you, Beckloff, I'm not going to give you anything. And, I mean, that's cool, too. You know, I would prefer, shekels sent my way, but, You know, I'm not going to sit here and, you know, what am I going to demand it? Not your fucking fandom. Oh, yo, pay piggy's got to have my money. But yeah, that's about it for tonight. Just check out Dashing Rogue's channel. He's going to stream here soon. The Digital Renegade Podcast. If you're not subscribed, you can look it up. Luke will probably be on there. I believe Luke's usually on the show. I don't know, maybe I'll wander into it if he'll have me.